Bahamas government promises the enactment of the Freedom of Information legislation soon. And in sport, the West Indies crumble to another defeat. I'm Ricardo Robertson. This is Caribbean in 10 for Monday, December 10. I'll be back with the details after the break. The Bahamas government says it will very soon implement the Freedom of Information Act, but Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says he does not want to give a date for implementation as yet because the government will be held to it and it is an ongoing process. He told reporters that it is not something that will happen overnight, noting that there are several agencies and areas that have to be put in place. Last week, Finance Minister Peter Turnquest said the government intends to borrow $30 million from the Inter-American Development Bank to strengthen its digital infrastructure and support the rollout of the act. And earlier this year, Attorney General Carl Bethel said the government expects to fully enact the legislation within the next budget year. The act was passed by the former government in 2017. It aims to reinforce and give further effect to certain fundamental principles underlying the system of constitutional democracy, namely government accountability, transparency, and public participation in national decision-making. 6 opposition legislators in Haiti are demanding an apology from the Speaker of the Senate, Joseph Lambert, over allegations he made linking an opposition senator with the escape of gang leader Arnel Joseph during a police exercise. Police have since announced a 2 million Gordy ransom for the capture of the country's most wanted gang leader following the unsuccessful raids on November 3rd. During a special session with the Superior Council of the National Police last week, Lambert reportedly questioned whether Deputy Pretemps Belize had attempted or assisted Joseph in escaping from lawmen during the raid in the village Deyu, that is. Now, in a strongly worded letter to Lambert on December 6th, 6 opposition legislators accused the Speaker of being irresponsible. They also said Lambert's statements were aimed at discrediting opposition deputies in general and Printemps in particular. And Trinidad and Tobago opposition member of Parliament, Devant Maharaj, is being condemned for giving out the Prime Minister's phone number on Twitter. He had also shared National Security Minister Stuart Young's mobile number via social media yesterday. Maharaj said his reason was to address the government's undemocratic behavior. In a press statement, Minister Young said Maharaj had once again engaged in irresponsible, deplorable, and destructive behavior designed to destabilize the good governance of the Twin Islands Republic. Maharaj's action is now under a police investigation. Attorney General Faris Awari didn't give details about the legal ramifications Maharaj could face, but did say his actions could have serious consequences. We get more in this TV6 News report.
Former UNC Minister Devant Maharaj has yet again landed himself in some hot water, already facing a backlash from the government for sharing the Prime Minister's personal cell phone number on social media. Maharaj, in another social media post, shared a National Security Minister Stuart Young's personal cell phone number. He said he did it to address the government's undemocratic behavior. Maharaj said his actions were in response to accusations of sedition for sharing Dr. Rowley's number. His post read, "Call Stuart. Prime Minister Rowley has opted to be disconnected from the sufferings of the average citizen, caused directly by the mismanagement of the economy by the termination of his cellular telephone." Government officials, including the Prime Minister himself, condemned the recent behavior of Miraj. The Prime Minister has since changed his phone number and stated that he has solicited the help of Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith. Commenting on the issue today was Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi, who says that the issue is not a matter of privacy, but one of interrupting the state's business.
It's a very large issue for a Prime Minister to have to change his number. It's not for an issue of privacy. It's for an issue of inundation of the wrong thing. It's equivalent to a form of a sabotage, if you look at it, depending upon what comes in, because you are intruding upon the lawful business. Listen, the Prime Minister is the chairman of the National Security Council. The Prime Minister has a need to have immediate calls answered. If you were to block that up with tens of thousands of mischievous calls, you're frustrating the people's business.
And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next.
This time on Coalition Corner, financing the response.
It is no surprise that, as you mentioned, about 75% regionally of the expenditure for the HIV response is from external sources.
But what will happen when external funds dry up?
The Global Fund or other multilaterals aren't just jumping up and leaving. To a large degree, many countries received adequate notice.
The question for us, where does the responsibility lie?
Don't miss the next Coalition Corner.
Delivered a new song, her first in 5 years, for Thanksgiving weekend. Aptly titled Kelly, the trap-influenced track is an empowering ode to herself. Roland hasn't released new solo music since her 2013 album Talk a Good Game. Earlier this year, she featured on Busta Rhymes' Get It with Missy Elliott.
A change of format made little difference to West Indies' fortunes as another timid batting display sent them tumbling to a 5-wicket defeat in the opening one-day international against Bangladesh yesterday. Now choosing to bat first at the Sherry-Bangla's National Stadium, the visitors stumbled their way to an uncompetitive 195 for 9 of their 50 overs, with opener Shea Hope top scoring on 43. West Indies were at snail's pace as they crawled to 79 for 3 at the halfway stage of the innings, and they needed busy knocks from Kemo Paul, who got 36, and Roston Chase, who made 32, down the order to lift the tempo. But Seamers Mashraf Murtaza and Mustafizur Rahman each took 3 wickets to keep the Windies in check, limiting them to their 4th lowest total against Bangladesh. Now in reply, Bangladesh overcame the loss of 2 early wickets to coast to their target in the 36th over, with wicketkeeper Mushfiqur Rahim stroking an unbeaten 55 and Litan Das gathering 41. Opener Shea Hope top scored for the West Indies, having suffered a 2-0 whitewash in the preceding Test series. West Indies are now staring at yet another series defeat, with the second ODI scheduled for tomorrow at the same venue. And West Indies have been confirmed to play in Ireland next summer as part of a major international men's schedule in which 16 international fixtures will be played. The Caribbean team will also compete in a one-day international tri-series with Ireland in Bangladesh. The West Indies' last tour of Ireland was in 2017, but a scheduled match at Stormont was abandoned without a ball being bowled. The first match against the West Indies will bowl off on May 5th at Clontarf, just 2 days after the much anticipated ODI against England. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.